Hi, you're watching the Los Angeles Times Envelope's Emmy Contenders Chats. I'm Michael Ordoña. Joining us today is one of the two in Comedy Central's The Other Two, Drew Tarver.
Hello.
Hi, Drew.
How's it going?
All right.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
And congratulations on the show being picked up for season 2.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited. I still have a job.
Yes.
It's very good.
I'm saying dang it, now you have to report to work and everything.
I know. It's a real bummer.
But not till August.
August, yeah, I think is when we start. Yeah.
You have until then to sit in rooms like this with people like me asking you questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get up at 1 p.m. every day until then.
I feel for you deep inside.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
All right, so just in case someone is watching this who doesn't know your show already.
Okay, yes.
And to that someone, why are you watching this if you don't know the show already?
How did you get here?
Yeah, exactly. You just woke up and this was on.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick summary of the show, and then you tell me what I missed that's important.
Okay.
Okay. It's about these superheroes. No.
Okay.
The Other Two is created by two former SNL head writers.
That's correct.
Chris Kelly and Sarah Schneider.
That's correct.
I didn't have
You got it.
It's about the older siblings of a 13-year-old instant internet sensation who turns 14 during the first season.
Yes.
He is sort of Bieberish without being Bieberish in a bad way.
Okay, good. Diplomatic.
Yes. And Drew plays his older brother, Cary.
That is correct.
A struggling actor in New York City.
That is correct, yes.
And Helena York plays the sister, Brooke, who is just a struggling person.
Yes, that's true. I like fact-checking the premise with you. Just like, okay, yes, you are. But you did nail it.
It is a comedy, but it also has compassion for its characters.
It does.
So what do viewers need to know that wasn't covered by that very long explanation?
Well, yeah, I think, from the premise, you can maybe assume that it would just be about this, 13-year-old pop star who's treating everyone like garbage, around them. And it's really not that, it does deliver on its premise that it is about the two loser older siblings of a Justin Bieber-esque pop sensation, but it's really a family show about, what happens to a family when there's a big change in the dynamic, and especially if the youngest sibling immediately becomes successful in something or an industry that the two older ones, or at least one of the older one, my character is trying to get successful in, and just seeing somebody kind of like run past you without doing any work, and you're like, yeah, I'm happy for my youngest sibling who's now is buying my mom a house. That doesn't happen on the show, but like I would imagine, because in real life, I'm the oldest, and all of my younger siblings are, without a doubt, better than me in some way. So I can relate to the character in that way.
You've said that before, but in what way? How would you? No, look, they're gonna watch this and go, he said these bad things about me. What ways are they better than you?
Well, all three of them can sing. I can't. So that's like one of them is a singer-songwriter, and was like she would like sing at church, and I would try to like sneak my way into her bits even though I couldn't sing. I'd be like, I want attention too. Can I come up on stage when you sing Brother for Sale? And she'd be like, yeah, I guess just stand there and I'll sing Brother for Sale. My little brother is like, he does Tough Mudders and stuff, I don't think I've ever even stepped in a mud puddle. Like, I'm just like, yeah, no. He's like a tough guy. My other sister can sing and also went to college and graduated, and I didn't do that. So it feels like everybody's more well-rounded than me.
I should mention Molly Shannon plays the mother.
She does, yes.
And she's wonderful, of course.
Yeah, no, she's the best. I mean, like, we were saying that now that she's been here and she's said nice things about me, I can say bad things about her, and she cannot defend herself.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm going to do. No, nobody would buy that. They'd be like, I don't buy it. She's great. And she is.
I understand you were an admirer of her work before you worked with her?
I was, yes. I mean, like, I grew up watching SNL, big fan of hers. All the stuff she's done after SNL too. When she joined the show, I I had met her once before because Chris Kelly, one of the creators, had written a movie, and a great movie called Other People, which she is in, and I played like a little, I played like a tiny part in this movie, and I got to meet her then, and I got to hang out with her for like a day, and I just loved hanging out with her. She's so great. And then when I started doing the show, I would find when I would be in scenes with her, she would be doing her thing, and I'm feet from her, and I'm watching her, and I'm on camera, but I'm just kind of going like, just like smiling at her, and I'm being like, oh my God, it's Molly, and she's doing her thing really close to me. But in the scene, I'm supposed to be mad at her. So I would kind of be like, hey, Chris, Sarah, if it seems like the actor in the scene or the character is just a big fan of Molly Shannon, come over and tell me like, hey, wipe that smile off your face.
You could work it into your character that when you really are angry, you smile.
Yes, yeah. I actually, when he's mad, he smiles and he says superstar. Like, that's just part of the character.
Sunder's mad.
He quotes
Superstar.
Molly Shannon bits.
I want to talk more about Molly's character because of what it means to this really being a family show, that it actually, the characters have some dimension to them.
Yeah.
But before I forget, I've got to mention the songs. I love Chase's songs.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, they're written by the two series creators.
Yes.
And with a composer whose name is Brett Leland McLaughlin.
Yes. Who like writes for Troye Sivan and all these pop acts. He's like a real, I mean, Chris and Sarah are real legit writers, comedy writers, obviously, and he is also very funny himself, but he is a real legit pop songwriter, which is just another world that like I have no idea about, and he's so good at just bringing in, the catchiness. Because the songs are packed with jokes, but then if they aren't catchy, like they don't make sense. So you have to have, he's so good at making them be like, I think, actually, this is pretty good. Like, this could be on the radio.
I was thinking that, especially Stink.
Yes.
One of the songs
is called Stink. Yeah.
It's a dance club song about how everybody should dance until they stink really badly.
Yes. Yeah. Which is, feels a little true. It's like, okay. Yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
That is awesome, and I could hear that on the radio.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are on Spotify.
Yes.
So they could make their way onto the radio. I think we need to start doing like Seacrest and like some morning shows to be like, I don't know what the music biz is. That's what I call it because I'm really cool, the music biz. I don't say business.
Yeah.
But I think we need to start doing kind of like a radio tour.
The other major song in it that he does is My Brother's Gay and That's Okay.
Yes, he sings a song which my character on the show is out, but like not. He's trying to be he's trying to be an actor, but he's not like out publicly. And his little brother, in an attempt to kind of get a song that has a message behind it, makes a song called My Brother's Gay and That's Okay. And people start recognizing him on the street and just kind of coming up to him and being like, gay brother, hey, gay, that's okay. And he's like, what is happening? And then they find the video, and that song is also a hit.
Yes.
It's just very good.
I mean, it's funny. I love the lyrics. I love how he's gay. He's gay in every way. My brother Cary is gay.
Yeah. It also says like his first and last name. Like at one point, it's like Cary Dubeck, just to make sure nobody thinks it's anyone else.
Right. But the reason that I think this song is actually significant in the show, it gets back to what I was saying about it being a family thing.
Yeah.
That those lyrics are funny. Not because they're talking about gayness, but because they're revealing something uncomfortable about you that you're not ready to be out there with, and it comes from the best place. That he's not this like brat. He's this really good kid.
He's really sweet, and I mean, like that's what's I like about this character of Chase is that it's not him being bad. It's kind of like him being genuine, and the industry behind him is what's kind of pushing him, and our family is like, wait, is this weird? Does he need to go to this thing? And go to this premiere, and they're like, no, this is good for him. He needs to do this. He needs to take a picture with this person,
Right.
So it's more about a family being like kind of pushed around by the industry, and how do you react if if fame is coming at you, and what does that do if your identity is not fully, if you don't know who you are, adding fame to it doesn't help.
No. And he's 13. Does he need to have all these hot babes all over him?
Exactly, yeah.
The fact that he is a good kid, and that you and your sister, you might be envious of him, but you love him and you're looking out for him.
Right, because he was just our little brother a month before, and now he's this thing that we're jealous of, but we also mostly we're worried about him.
Yeah.
Mostly we're like, oh, is he going to be, he's just going to drop out of school? He's done with school? Like, is that okay? But also, can I use his fame to help me?
Right. Maybe
Maybe he should be out of school. I don't know. It's like a bunch of different mixes of emotion, which feels very human. It's a lot of different things: love, jealousy, concern, an interest in yourself, a self-interest, like how can his fame help me? So Cary's a very like interesting character that has a lot going on. He's trying to figure out how he feels.
I think that's a really good choice that the showrunners made, rather than having Chase be a brat and having you guys hate him.
Yeah.
Because this gives us something to root for all the time, and you have the low-hanging fruit of the manager, Streeter.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Ken Marino.
You're still dead on with the whole show. Yeah.
So yeah, that's maybe a little low-hanging fruit, that it does make fun of the industry that way. But I'd say that the biggest targets of humiliation are definitely Cary and Brooke.
Absolutely. Like, we are the ones who are wrong in every scenario. Like, even though we are technically the normal ones in the show, or the straight men, or like the ones who are like reacting to everything, we are the ones who are being gross most of the time and have the wrong ideas and wrong motivations, and we're constantly just falling flat on our faces just throughout the season. It's kind of devastating to watch at times.
So do you have any favorite examples of, I don't know, those daily indignities that Cary suffers?
Yeah, I think, I think it's the episode with the Instigays is very interesting to where like you have these characters that take shirtless photos of themselves, or like that's what Cary thinks. They're like, oh, they're garbage. They just take photos of themselves and get likes and do sponsored posts with oatmeal with their shirt off, and they're like, I love my oatmeal, and it's like, well, you're naked. But Chris and Sarah do such a great job of, because Cary needs more followers to get an audition, he is like, well, I need to go hang out with these guys so they can tag me in a post and I can get more followers so I can get an audition. So it's very self-motivated, and they're actually very nice guys.
Yeah.
Like, you could have written those characters so one note and so unlikable, but they're the normal ones, and Cary is the one being gross, like showing up, trying to get in a photo with them. So
And having such a low opinion of them while he does it.
yeah, exactly, and treating them terribly.
Right.
And eventually, like, he's the wrong one in the episode, or the whole time he's the wrong one. I thought that's such a good, it's such a nice thing to watch when the main character is the one who is wrong.
Very Seinfeldian.
Yes, yeah.
I have to mention, though, because your description of them made me remember Lance, who is one of my
Yes.
favorite characters on the show.
The best, yeah. Lance is the best. That character also, I mean, because he's just a side character. I mean, he's so good. Josh Segarra, who plays Lance, he can't touch a side character that anybody isn't like, wait, more of him. Like, he's so good and likable and funny and like just plays that dumb character so well. But I mean, even though he's just introduced in the pilot as like a guy who's an ex who works at Foot Locker, who's a wannabe shoe designer,
Has the worst ideas for shoes.
awful shoe designer. He has so much heart, and you can feel their relationship, and just kind of how it just feels like a real ex that you're like, ugh, my ex, but also you have a bunch of history with that person, and you feel it through the show.
All right.
Yeah.
What I really like about that character is that at first that big smile he always has looks simple-minded. He
Yes,
looks just like a total moron.
Right.
And as the show goes on, you see that he's just this really open-hearted, sweet guy.
Nice guy.
That's why he's always smiling, because
Yeah.
he's really happy, and he's really happy to see you all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. He plays that so well. It's written so well, and yeah, it's Chris and Sarah are just so good at turning a character that could be a cartoon into like a fully, rounded character that you like root for. Everyone on the show, it's like, wait, well, what about more of that character? It's like, well, they're just a side character, but there's so much there.
I'd like him to get some attention. So another thing you've talked about in terms of the show is the resonance of queer issues and stories.
Yeah.
And some things you've cited are internalized homophobia.
Yes.
Which is, kind of painfully shows up in the show.
Right.
And confusion about finding your way from that perspective.
Yeah.
So could you give an example from the show that you found really resonant? Not necessarily from your life, but just, that you think was effective.
Yeah, I think there's a great moment in one of the scenes that kind of like sums up what Cary is dealing with, and he's at a gay bar, and a guy comes up to him and says like, "Oh, would you want to go out sometime?" And the guy who comes up to him has been they're in acting class together, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah," or "Would you want to go out?" And he's like, he tells Cary, "I didn't know you were gay." Mm-hmm. And Cary goes like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, right.
And then the other character's like, "Oh, that's not something that you should feel excited about, that you were passing or something." And what does that mean for Cary? Like, what is he going through in that moment? And I think it's, a cool thing about this show. I hadn't seen a bunch of queer characters that were messy in that dealing with what it's like, or dealing with like what it's like to live life after you come out. A lot of shows are about like, here's how you come out, and then you do, and everything's fine.
Great.
And this is more like, okay, Cary's out, but he's not like, he's trying to be an actor, and he's trying to be publicly out, but he's making missteps, and he's figuring himself out, and what that means, and what some things he doesn't like about himself that he should love, So it's a very interesting look into, what it's like to live life after you come out, and things that you can struggle with.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you think Cary's a good actor?
I don't know. I think he is. I think once he like gets a handle on himself, he could probably be better. But that's an interesting question. Like, is he good? I think he's like figuring himself out, and he could be good in the right part.
Okay. Because we never get to see him shine as an actor.
Yes, yeah. That's an interesting thing that I'm wondering about in season 2. Like, will he be successful? Will he ever get success? What does that look like for him? Does he constantly just fall on his face and never get success? Would it be interesting if he had success? What would he be like if he was good?
Right. Well, now he's not going to be riding, probably not on his brother's coattails, but maybe on his mom's.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder about that. I mean, the only thing we've seen him do really is smell a fart at a party, right?
Yes, that's all we've seen is that one acting job, which he played pretty big. So
yes, but he was in the moment.
He was.
It was just a very big moment. Okay, the last thing I want to ask you about the show before I ask you something else is poor Justin Theroux.
Oh, poor Justin Theroux.
He takes some backhanding on the show. Is he in
Yeah.
on the joke? Has he like responded to you guys?
Yeah, he apparently, because him and Ken are friends.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they like run in the same circle, and he's like seen the show, and he was like, I love it. I love it. I think it's great because we are technically, making fun of him a little bit, but we're also being like, you're cool, you ride motorcycles,
Yeah.
you're handsome,
Right.
you look good with your shirt off, you have a lot of black boots in a closet, but yeah, I think he's seen the show and was like, I also think he's like, I don't care, like, I'm cool. Like,
I'm Justin Theroux.
Yeah, like, you guys do what you need to do over there. I'm still Theroux.
Now, I'm sorry to make you talk about this again because you've talked about it so many times, but I can't let go that you grew up in a tiny Georgia town,
Yes.
population 3,000.
Yes.
And your family owns a candy factory
Yeah,
there.
that's a weird, I am an heir to a candy factory.
Yeah, and you called your father the redneck Willy Wonka.
My dad is kind of like the redneck Willy Wonka. He makes candy, but it is a stressful business. So he'll hear him, I'll be talking to my mom on the phone and I'll hear him in the background be like, well, we're out of cookie dough, who didn't salt the pretzels? Just stuff like that. But yes, my granddad started a roadside sort of pull on in on your way to Florida and get some turtles. He probably sold regular turtles too, like candy and regular. One of those like weird roadside stands where you can get like an alligator head and a big thing of oranges. Like it was
Chocolate or salmonella? Which
exactly, yeah. So yeah, my dad was like, "Oh, you're gonna take over the candy factory," and I was like, "I think I'm gonna be an actor." And everybody in the town was like, that's a bad idea. I don't know if that's a good thing. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, so far, I'm doing okay. But, I mean, this show could end after season 2, and then I'm back making caramel. Who knows? I mean, it's a fun fallback career,
Right. Well, right now you can laugh at them just like you laugh at your younger self. Like, look who's on Comedy Central.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. You've answered all of our very probing questions about your show.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Do I get something? Do I get a...
What you get is the lightning round.
Okay, the lightning round. Okay, I'm excited.
All right. These are questions we ask of everyone who has the great fortune to sit in that chair.
Oh, yeah, this is a big deal.
Yes. And don't worry about your answers. If you get any wrong, they're going to go on your permanent record.
Okay.
So
there are right answers to these. These aren't opinion questions. These are like...
Are there any questions that don't have right answers?
I guess that's true.
So what was the last show that you binged?
The last show I binged was I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, which is Tim Robinson's sketch show. Tim Robinson was on SNL. He had a show on Comedy Central called Detroiters, which I loved. And now he has this sketch show on Netflix that is so deeply funny. It made me... I watched some of it on a plane. I had like downloaded it onto and I was crying laughing on a plane watching this show. And I haven't like cried laughing watching something in a long time.
Okay,
so good. You got to watch it.
That's a very high recommendation. I will watch it because of what you just said.
Yes,
I
he's
think
great.
you should leave.
Yes, I Think You Should Leave. It's a sketch show. It's insane. I love it.
That sounds like an improv comedy prompt.
It is. Yes. Yeah. It is kind of, one of those. There was a show kind of like that. Like it was called, Oh, You're Here? What was it? Like somebody came on. I can't remember.
Yeah. I mean, with your UCB experience.
I know. I should know the 2 improv TV shows.
Dang
What's
it.
wrong with me?
See that wrong answer that's going on your
That was a wrong answer.
All right. What classic TV show do you wish you'd been on?
Oh, what classic TV show do I wish I had been on? I wish I had been on Chappelle's Show. Just like a side character on like in Chappelle's Show.
You know, like the white guy in the background
Yes,
shouting something.
yeah. No, I think Well, I wish I had been on Arrested Development. I really like that show.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe I could. No, I don't think that can. Is that classic? Is that considered classic?
It's classic to me. It's one of the best.
Oh.
One of the best, if you can call it sitcom.
Yeah,
ever.
I've answered wrong again. It's not
Dang it.
classic. That's two wrong answers.
You got strikes like crazy. Is there a show, past or present, you wish got more Emmy love?
Let's see.
Or let's say awards love.
Awards love. A past show that got more awards love.
Or present.
Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Late Night with Conan O'Brien, that counts.
I wish that, Brian Stack's character, the Interrupter, on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, I think should have won Best Actor, Best Dramatic Actor.
An Oscar.
That's a show I wish I had been on, Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Just like
There
a
you go.
walk-on where Max Weinberg throws a drumstick at me or something. That would be big for me.
But you scoff at the notion of being on Conan.
Oh, no. I love all renditions of Conan.
Okay, last one. What's the worst job you've ever had, whether acting or not?
Worst job I've ever had was I worked on an organic food truck when I first moved out here. And we would park outside of bars and people would come out of the bars at like 2 a.m. and we were there and there was like a non-organic truck or like a taco truck, and then there was us. And most people would go to the other truck, but occasionally people would come to the organic one. And there's like nothing worse than someone who's drunk but also wants to eat organic. So they would just kind of be like, excuse me, is this peanut oil or what kind of oil are you guys using? Is the beef free range? So that was, and they would kind of just scream at me, but I was also bad at it. I would take too long and I didn't know how to do the credit card machine. So they were right. I think I deserve to be screamed at. How much longer for my soybean burger?
So you have to be really good on season 2 of Other 2, or else it's back to the organic food truck.
I could hit the organic food truck, and then if that falls through again, I could go back and make chocolate-covered pecans.
Your manager's over there saying, we've got it lined up for you, the organic food truck.
It's a bad sign that half of this interview is what are my fallback plans?
All right, you've answered all our questions. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the show and the renewal for season 2.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
To see this entire interview or any of our other Emmy Contenders chats, go to latimes.com.